What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. This is a Blinkers Off. What's up, man?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Thursday night special. We did some damage last Thursday, so try to keep it going, man. Now we're to the 100-point Derby races, and that's always gets really exciting. A win and you're in, and you finish second, and you're probably most likely in as well. So, yep, I can't believe we're already at this point in the season, though.
Yeah, we're down to the final stretch here. I know it's crazy. You know, you're basically talking two more. I guess a couple. You know, it's the UA Derby's not in the United States, but that's a 100-point race. Florida Derby, of course, the Louisiana Derby, the Florida Derby, or I said that, and then the Jeff Ruby. But those are all races that are left in March, and then you're really down to the big, the Argus Derby, the Wood Memorial, Estancia, and Bluegrass, and those are it. You know, and of course the Lexington is the last one. But it's just kind of cool to be in this stretch where it feels like a normal stretch, whereas last year, obviously, it did not, and you didn't know what races were going to be ran, if at all. So yeah, it's good. And Louisiana Derby, I mean, going to mile 3/16, this is the closest these horses that are in this race will get to the Kentucky Derby distance until the Derby. So it's a good test for some of these, which has kind of been going into this race. There's a handful of pretty good horses I feel like that are in Louisiana right now.
Yeah, this year I think I think we're going to get into that even deeper here pretty soon, but so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I do think it's definitely a deep class down there. They've been a fun group to follow all year long, and it's fitting that most likely they're going to decide what happens. We'll see. There's a shipper that's going to be very interesting, but overall, those three have put on a good show, and that's usually not the case with Louisiana horses. Although you know what? I feel like they're getting better. Like War of Will came out of that circuit and won the Preakness. Of course, Gunrunner was there not too long ago and got third in the Kentucky Derby and obviously went on to do big things. So I feel like the crop down there each and every year is getting a little better and improving. So certainly these three, yeah, they're right there.
Joshua, thank you for tuning in. Head to the sports book in Indiana. Let me know what's good. That's my boy. Yeah, of course, we have March Madness going on today, right now. At least the first the first four, I guess, or the last four, whatever you call it. And of course, it really gets going tomorrow on Friday and Saturday. And that's another thing, right? That we have March Madness this year. So that's it's that in itself. Teamed up with Derby preps, it's going to be a hell of a weekend of sports. But yeah, I mean, last weekend we saw shocker Bob Baffert win the Rebel. No surprise, he actually ran 1-2. I mean, really shouldn't surprise anybody. Real quickly, concert tour. Is he better than Life is Good?
No, he's absolutely not better than Life is Good, but he's very, very, very talented. I thought that was a really impressive performance. And just got a great price on him. Just utter shocked by the fact that he did not go off the favorite, but I was happy that he didn't. Very good price, dominated the field. I thought Rosario, he just said the hell with it. We're going to the lead. Come get us. Come try to beat us. And nobody could even touch him. And just cruised. So I don't think we know quite how good he is just yet because he just cruised all the way around there. Never really asked him to run. His issue is we don't know that about Life is Good either because he hasn't been asked to run. So pretty good feeling for Bob Baffert to have two horses here that, just really, really talented. But this was a serious performance by Concert Tour. I put him number 2 on the rankings. I thought he ran a, just really, really solid race.
Yeah, Vicky, thanks for tuning in, Vicky. She does not as fast as Life is Good, but seems more professional. That seems that's a pretty good point because when you have typically the Baffert horses that ship into Oaklawn are the ones that you're most serious about because now that's not always the case. Of course, Justified, a horse like that, a late bloomer, but a lot of times they make that trip and it's like they are a little bit more professional because they're getting that. Most of the time, it's bigger fields, right? It's bigger races than you're going to have at Santa Anita. And then you're kind of getting that more, the professionalism is kind of coming out earlier than some of these horses. Like Life is Good is going to be raw up until the Kentucky Derby, because he's just not really going to probably get a full test. Whereas Concert Tour, you can say the Rebels field wasn't great after the fact, but going into it is a pretty salty field. And he made Caddo River look like a little chump, and that was a pretty damn good horse. And so
Yeah.
He was so fast that he did that to him.
Yeah. See, I don't play this game of it sucks after the fact. I didn't do it, in the San Felipe, and I'm not going to do it with this. We all said those were two good races. And after the fact, after blowout performances, I'm not going to go back and say, well, that field sucked. I don't do that. I look at it how I looked at it before they ran the race. And that race was supposed to be tough for him to win. And it wasn't. It was very, very easy for him to win. So, yeah, I'm really impressed with both of them. And Vicky, I think you said it pretty well. Concert Tour certainly more professional up to this point. One with his ears pricked too, man. Like he you kind of said it after the race. It's like the way he looked as far as crossing the wire and just galloping out, the ears up. It did remind you of American Pharoah's Rebel a little bit, where he was just kind of into a race of his own. Obviously, the time didn't come back quite as fast. The number didn't come back quite as fast. But overall, this was a really, really solid performance.
It's we can only hope, right, that we get anywhere close, because we've talked about it before on the show, where you had the Pharaoh Dortmund kind of that year, where it was kind of like who's better, because you didn't really two Baffert horses. One stayed out west, one went to Oaklawn. Obviously, American Pharoah was the one that went to Oaklawn, and they got the matchup in the Kentucky Derby, and we all know what happened. Be kind of neat to have that, like who's better. Life is good. Concert, they both win the San Antonio Derby and Arkansas Derbies, and they come back, and then you're like, who's better? And then you get to find out in the Derby. So obviously that teamed up with, say, Essential Quality, and who what's going to kind of come out of the collaborate, whatever the
greatest honor.
The Brandon Walsh. What's the Godolphin horse?
Oh, Prevalence.
Prevalence. Yes. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're going to have there's going to be that kind of coming from the Florida circuit. So I think you get some of those kind of everyone kind of maybe getting to the Derby with a lot of storylines. But all right, we got plenty of Derby to talk about coming up on the show with Louisiana Derby. First, before we do anything else, what's the best thing you saw today?
I urge everybody to go watch the videos that Joe Christofek is doing. They're called Barn Tours, where he goes back to the backstretch there at Fairgrounds, and he'll do like a little 2-minute spiel about a horse, but he's standing right next to the horse. And I think Joe Christofek does a great job, but I'm not listening to a word he's saying. I'm just watching the horse and seeing if Joe gets bit, and it's fantastic entertainment. He was next to Hot Rod Charlie last night, and Hot Rod Charlie got a piece of his shirt, and then he was next to Proxy, who was just acting insane the whole time, trying to murder Joe. So I love that. I wish every track would do that, because at the end of the day, it's just fun to see all the horses. And like you look at Hot Rod Charlie, it's like, wow, he is really cool looking. And then you look at Proxy, and it's like, geez, that horse is tall. He got a long neck. I mean, I don't know. That's what I like about it. So yeah, go to Joe's Twitter and check out all those videos. They're great.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you, I don't know, like a face, sort of, so to speak, to kind of root for. You get behind these horses. That's one of our favorite parts when we used to go to the track, right? When you'll go back to the barns, and we most of the time, we've met a lot of big time horses, but sometimes it'd just be like Iowa breds or something with Kelly's barn. We'd be like, this is super cool, like we love these horses. So anytime you can kind of get that touch of and see these horses, especially right before a big race. I think it's awesome. Just adds a different element than just betting. Best thing I saw has to be the fact that I sold my house this week. How about that? So don't have a place yet. So might be coming to live with you soon. We'll find out. So make sure. But no, the market obviously is just insane right now, and got an offer unlisted, and I was like, okay, like I was in the market to kind of start thinking about moving or selling and moving, and it's just too good to pass up. So, I've been here for, gosh, I don't even know, 6 years maybe.
Yeah.
So it's I'm excited for the change. But I kind of brought that up to be like, I might have to come live with you. I mean, it might have to. I don't foresee it, but it's just nice to know I have such a great friend that be willing to offer that to me, and especially to me and the boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would be okay. It's what you bring with you is a problem.
No, listen, I know you've got plenty of room. So we got one room for each of us. So we'll be good. So
You actually would, yeah, that would actually work. But listen, I urge you to find something. Yeah, you're up against it though. You're gonna have to quit messing around. It's gonna be here before you know it.
No, I know. Trust me. But it's an extended closing, so it's not it's not 30 days. So we got a little time, but yeah, it's shit's getting real now. So I'm not doing anything this time of the year, anyways. You know what I mean?
Right?
So,
Yeah.
might as well add in selling and moving into another house. All right. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for tuning in. If you are tuning in live with us right now on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, if you're not, what are you doing? Next time you're listening to this after the fact, make sure you tune in live with us, and just all you gotta do is subscribe to any of those social media channels. You'll get alerted when we go live. I want to get to the show because we have kind of a big card to talk about for the Louisiana Derby at Fairgrounds. So on today's show, we are going to preview the $1 million Louisiana Derby at Fairgrounds, the first 100-point Kentucky Derby prep of 2021. Then we're going to get some rapid fire selections for some of the remaining stakes action on the undercard at Fairgrounds. Let's go.
You know what I miss about this weekend? Sutherland Derby.
I know. Yeah, well,
I always liked that race.
Yeah, the race that meant nothing as far as nothing came out of it, but it was always kind of a fun race to watch.
Yep, it was still fun. Yeah, I miss it. Oh well.
It's all right. You got a good one. Louisiana Derby. It's good.
Yeah,
good card too.
Yep, this is very good.
This card is no joke. I love this card. I think it's got some real players in it for sure.
Yep.
You got the dirt. Got a shot. I mean, you got a shot at the Derby winner out of this race. You definitely have a shot at the Oaks winner in the race prior. Obviously, Colonel Liam's as a budding superstar seems like on the turf. There's a lot. A roadster, probably a classic winner. So I mean, you just never know. Oh, geez, good to see that little bastard back. I hate that horse.
I couldn't believe he was back. I was shocked.
First person I text was Paul when I saw that. I was like, dude, you cannot believe who's running.
Yeah,
he's trainer. He's back. Yeah, new trainer. Even Baffert's like, this guy.
I don't want this horse. Yeah.
No, because I don't know how I know how I won the with him, but I'm done. Man. All right. Yeah, so we're going to do Louisiana Derby. Then we're going to do some rapid fire for the undercard stakes races. So, all right. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go to Fairgrounds on Saturday, race 14, the TwinSpires.com Louisiana Derby. It's a grade 2 with $1 million for 3-year-olds. Going 1 at 3/16 miles, field of 8 shows up for this one. 8-5 morning line favorite, Mandolin for Brad Cox Flo. They're looking to do it again here, but you've got the same kind of trio of horses. They're going to Proxy, of course, Midnight Bourbon, 7-2 on Proxy. You got 5-1 on Midnight Bourbon. And then you got the new shooter, number 5, Hot Rod Charlie. Not listed as Doug O'Neill because of a suspension, but it is Doug O'Neill trained. Rosario back to ride, which I thought was a great sign that he's coming with the horse at 3-1. So those are your main players here. What do you think of this race?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, we're going to find out a lot about these Louisiana horses. And I want to thank Hot Rod Charlie for making the trip out because, we know that he's kind of in that second level of California horse, right? Like Life is Good is in another ballpark, but he's in that Medina Spirit, Roman Centurion, Hot Rod Charlie. They're kind of all together. And now we get to see Hot Rod Charlie take on these 3 Louisiana horses. So it's not a great sign if Hot Rod Charlie wins this race for the rest of these Louisiana horses. I think you can kind of toss them out. Listen, I think Hot Rod Charlie's going to be tough. I'll start with him. He's not my top pick, but he's who I put in second. And I think you touched on a big point. Rosario comes in here to ride him so he could win 2 preps in a row here. Of course, last week he wins with Concert Tour. I think Rosario is a big positive. I also think Hot Rod Charlie in this distance, I don't see it being a problem because Oxbow standing at Calumet Farm is the sire, and Oxbow won the Preakness. And damn it, this distance is the Preakness distance. So
there you go.
I like Hot Rod Charlie, but I don't think you can go against Brad Cox down here. I thought Mandaloon kind of separated himself a little bit from the other two big horses. Down here in that Risen Star performance, he was kind of pulling away there at the end. I really like Mandaloon to win this thing. I could not go against Brad Cox. I messed with Proxy for a little while. I watched all the replays. As far as breeding, Proxy's the one that should like the distance. I just don't know what his excuse was last time. I thought if he was good enough, he would have won last time. I could see him getting second and third again, but I couldn't put him on top. Plus, I kind of see everybody's picking Proxy. It's like, yeah, he's the wise guy horse, I feel like here. So those usually don't win. Yeah,
they're throwing blinkers on. Trying to change things up, obviously, hoping that makes a difference. And it might, like you said, this horse, like blinkers should have nothing to do with that last race. He was right there to win, or, he just couldn't get by. Mandaloon, to me, Mandaloon, I like Mandaloon personally, but I think he separated himself. I agree in the Risen Star. This horse has been the favorite in all 4 starts of his career. Yes, he got beat in Lecomte. Came back, dominated the Risen Star, added blinkers. He looks like a different horse, bumped up his buyer 7 points off that last effort. He really, really stepped up. He's been working like a monster going into this race yet again. And I kind of feel like it's kind of weird. And I don't know if it's just a matter of, because, when you have these, Louisiana, like sometimes these horses down the bayou kind of get forgotten, I feel like, on the trail. But it seems like, Cattle River, and, excited about him, and of course, Central Quality. But it's like, Mandaloon is just kind of like sneaky good to me. Like, he's maybe the horse that's not named Life is Good, or maybe not trained by Bob Baffert, that has a shot. And David Barista, thanks for making a comment, says, will we see the Kentucky Derby second or third place finisher here in this race? And he's the kind of horse that not only could get second or third, but for whatever reason, the Baffert doesn't fire in the Derby or whatever. Like, he's a horse. Like, I think he's that good. I really think he's been campaigned really well. He's kind of going to come into the Kentucky Derby. I would think it's, he runs his race here, coming into it in a pretty damn good form. So to me, he's the one that I think not only he's my pick to win here. I think he's got a shot to win the Kentucky Derby. If he, obviously he wins here, he's got to win here to continue that progression.
I think I totally agree with what you said, and I think you can say the same for Proxy. If he turns the tables here, let's say the blinkers work and he turns the tables, he's another one. He's been campaigned really well. He's kind of been forgotten about. He's got a great, pedigree. He's got great connections. He's another one that's got a shot. So yeah, to David's question, yeah, I do think we could see a horse come out of this race and hit the board in the Kentucky Derby for sure. Another thing that these horses, all of them, you can throw Midnight Bourbon in the mix, and really Hot Rod Charlie if you want to talk about him. They all kind of have that style that you have to win the Kentucky Derby. They're up towards the front and they can stay. At least so far, they've proven they can stay. Now, this is another challenge, obviously. So far, you could say with each one of those runners, they've got early speed and they've got staying power. That's how you win the Kentucky Derby. So, I'm with you. I just think these horses are dangerous. It's like I said, I think this crop is very good down there in Louisiana. And the only thing that's going to disprove it coming out of this race is if Hot Rod Charlie wins. Then you're going to go, oh, man, we overrated him.
Now, which way do you go more? It sounds like you're going more on the overrated, but let's say Hot Rod wins this race, and do you go more like, wow, Hot Rod Charlie is like, he's improving. He's like that, maybe at this distance, or that's a horse that all of a sudden is really, really good. Or are you more like, we kind of know what he is, and the bar is just better out west than it is here?
Yeah, I think the second one for sure. Now, listen, if he runs away and wins by like 8, then you go, okay. But I see if he wins, I don't think it'll be a blowout win. And I would just say good on Hot Rod Charlie, huge win. Horse is getting better. I would say that, but you can also kind of draw a line, because if you can't beat Hot Rod Charlie, I don't think you're going to beat, the Baffert duo.
No.
that's where I would kind of fall with it. But it's a horse race. Anything can happen. We might see an 8-length victory. Oxbow, he came down here and won the comp by like 11 lengths. I remember that very well. So, you could see it, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be close.
The thing about Hot Rod that's really intriguing is he, since he's added blinkers, obviously he's been a different horse. Hasn't, other than his mate breaking his maiden, he hasn't won. He got finished. Everything kind of about him has been kind of how good he looks in defeat, where he gets beat by less than a length to Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup at 94-1. You could just put the 3 in a hat in the Robert B. Lewis. I mean, all Medina Spirit, Roman Chariot, and Rod Charlie all hit the wire at the same time, basically. You put that great effort again off the bench, and it's just like at some point he's got to break through. The thing about him is like I feel like I can feel pretty confident saying, especially if you watch his last work, he's gonna bring it. Like he's gonna try. He's gonna make the effort. He's gonna be a hard person to pass, hard horse to pass. He's going to give it his all. It's just a matter of, like you say, the bar. Where does it compare to these horses that are in this race? Distance, obviously, we haven't seen him go this long, but I'm with you, Oxbow. Certainly got the distance. So you would think wouldn't be. And you're right. You said it really well, because when I was going through to try to kind of who do I try to pick here to beat Mandaloon, because he obviously has the perfect setup, but it's like a lot of these do, because there's a lot of speed in the race, and you got to think, okay, these horses are going to sit off, and you're almost like, well, Hot Rod Charlie could do that. Mandaloon could do that. Proxy could do that. So it's almost like they should all kind of get a pretty clean trip, you would think, and it's just a matter of who has that kick, and it's going to be. I think it might be a hell of a finish. I really do.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I went away from Midnight Bourbon here a little bit, and I mean he can hit the board here, and if the pace is just like a perfect setup, he can win. But out of the 4 big ones, he seems like one that kind of needs that lead more so than the other ones. So, I'm definitely with you.
David also says, can Hot Rod Charlie not make the Derby gate racing in California? One thing to at least mention in terms of that is, after that big effort, Doug O'Neill said that he was afraid to bring him back at a normal time frame, and the way the time fit, it made sense to run him here, because of, he said, if you have run a horse when that horse runs that hard that well off of the layoff, they tend to bounce a lot on their next start, and so he gave him more spacing. Obviously, January 30th was when he ran that last race, so it's been about a month and a half. So he wanted that separation, and maybe he also thinks the distance is going to help as well.
Yeah, I think he told Joe Christopher the long stretch. He really likes that for Hot Rod Charlie. And distance is a thing too. The other thing you got to think about, when they made the decision to point to this race, they probably thought the Santa Anita Derby was going to be really loaded. And now I really think the Santa Anita Derby is going to be life is good, and then everybody else is going out of town. I really think that's going to happen. So, hindsight 2020, maybe they just would have waited for the Santa Anita Derby and said, okay, we'll just do that. But, overall, I don't think this is a horrible idea to send him here. I think they probably made the right choice.
I mean, right now, Hot Rod, if we're talking Hot Rod, he sits at 10 points.
Yeah.
So he would need to, this is a 140, 20, 10 for your top 4 finishers. Obviously he finished second, he's in. Finishes third, he's on that bubble, 30 points. Could you ever imagine, given that he has been very lightly raced in this prep season, if he were to finish third, which would be very possible considering, this is not the easiest fields. Say he runs a good race and still finishes third, like the Lexington or something. I mean, do you think that's even in the realm? Because obviously he has ran well at Keeneland. Do you think that's possible?
This race gives you options, okay? Because you've got that last gasp that you can try to do. So yes, I do think it's possible that this horse rolls back and tries the Lexington, if he just needs a couple more points. So yeah, I definitely think that's possible. I would look for that, but hopefully he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Well, hey, you and me both, buddy. You and me both. All right. Final question. So the typical question I ask when we do these preps, How many of these horses do you think are legit Derby contenders out of here? Because we're down to the stretch here. This is it. So obviously there's going to be. We know Mandaloon's won. Win or lose, he's won because he's got. He should have the points to get in. But who else?
Mandaloon, Proxy, and Hot Rod Charlie. I think we're going to get 3 of them. I really do, and we might get 4.
So, who you don't think Midnight Bourbon can get in?
I'm not expecting him to run very well here. I'm really not. But he should get in. I think he's in good shape. Let me look that up.
He's got 26. So yeah.
Well, fourth gets him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just seems like a horse that as long as he gets the points, they're going to run him there. He's ran. It just feels like the way he ran a pretty good third. Just if he runs a third or fourth again here, you got to think that Hot Rod, Mandolin's, Midnight Bourbon, and Proxy. That seems like the top. That should be the top 4, right? And Proxy and Proxy and Hot Rod are the ones that need the points. Mm-hmm. They need the points badly here. So, what's Proxy have? Proxy he should have. What do you get for that race?
He should. I think he's in. I just exit out of it. Hold on, I'm going back. he's
got 25. So he's right. He's right there with Midnight Bourbon. So
yeah,
really a 4th place finish by any of these horses other than Hot Rod.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much safe. Hot Rod really needs a top 3 finish in order to keep the conversation alive. I think definitely top 2 would get him in. So, all right, you and I are kind of on the same. I think we're pretty much on the same page with this race. We both really like the 6. We both really think these top 4 are the top 4 of the race, and we think Hot Rod, if there was possible, he could win this race if the measuring stick is not as high as we thought it was at the fairgrounds. All right.
It's a really interesting race. Like, it's just fun. It's a fun race.
It's like I say, it's one of the more, I feel like, feels like one of the more exciting Louisiana Derbies, just because I feel like it's got a handful of pretty legit horses. So
yeah.
I mean, we'll see. You find out pretty quickly at this stage how legit they are. But I feel like we have a handful of really good horses in this race and Proxy I didn't talk a lot about Proxy, but he's obviously one that you really want to pick, right? Because he just can't break through, and maybe the blinkers does it. He's a nice horse and another good Godolphin, right? Another good Godolphin. So
yep. I had him on top when I was writing the article for a long time, and I decided now he won't do it.
No, I mean he could, but I just don't think you really want to trust it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You're at this point. You could say picking him last time out makes a lot of sense because I feel like when you look at that race, it's like, okay, you could see how the tables could be turned the next time, and they were, but it was Mandaloon. But this time you're kind of like, all right, you had your chance. Now you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to wait and see with you now. So
yep.
All right, let's do some rapid fire. We've got 4 stakes races to talk about on the undercard that are really, really good. The Tom Benson, the New Orleans Classic, Meniz Memorial, and the Fairgrounds Oaks, which is just I just love this race. It's one of my favorite races every year, but it's also one of my favorite races of what we're going to talk about because of this back and forth battle, right? Between I love it. These 2 fillies, they keep battling out. We get to see it again. It's like a preview to the Oaks. I love it. So,
yep.
So I can't wait to talk about that. All right, let's do it. But first, you know what time it is. It's that time that everyone loves to hear us talk about how Halterman's been handling his shaving routine.
Yes.
Yes. All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. Time for Rapid Fire, presented by Manscaped. Support for Punker's Office brought to you by Manscaped, who is your best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers premium engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide, and we have exclusive offer to give you guys right now. 20% off with free shipping with promo code DUDES. That's DUDES at Manscaped.com. How's it going, Halterman? How's the grooming going?
It's going well, man. We're still, like I say, every week we're very much enjoying ourselves. Manscaped has kind of changed my life in a way, to be completely honest. So, I love it, but Heather really loves it, and that's all that matters.
Is it too much to say that I have tested out the gut feedback? Can we call it that?
Really? No, I'm interested to hear it.
and let me tell you, they're on board. They're on board. I mean, it was perfect. So my experience was great. I think hers was. No. She said, "Whoa, is that Manscaped?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." And then there you go. I said, "Did you use promo code DUDES?" Like, "Yep." And so there you go.
Yeah.
It works. No, it's perfect. Who actually came up with this is genius, because it's an unbelievable razor in general, but the fact that you've got the marketing around it, and it actually works. It's perfect. You can. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of guys have shaved like with the same razor they use on their face, and that's just gross. So you got to have I have separate bags, one for the beard, one for the okay. So make sure you go to manscaped.com, enter promo code DUDES, get 20% off free shipping with DUDES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping with code DUDES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with manscaped.com. Your balls well, thank you. All right, let's get to some racing at Fairgrounds on the undercard. This is a hell of an undercard. I talked about it a little bit on the intro there. You obviously have some serious horses that are going to be running. Let's do it. This one, we sometimes do it back and forth, but with only 4 on the undercard, let's just go through race by race. Let's go to race 10. This is the Tom Benson Memorial Stakes, $150,000 for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up, going 1 with 16 miles on the turf. Field of 13 lines up for this one. Delika 3-1. What you think about this one?
Yeah, I think this one seems ripe for an upset. And Delika looked very good last time out, but I tried to beat her then, and I'll try to beat her again. I'm going to go with the 2-horse Dominga on top at 8-1 for Brad Cox, Florent Giroux. First start as a 4-year-old. I really like that angle, especially with Brad Cox. And this horse was pretty decent as a 3-year-old. Ran in some tough races, competitive, never could really break through. But I really like this horse coming back, like say, first time as a 4-year-old. Logical field, but still a tough field. And I think if this horse wasn't doing well, they could find her a little bit of an easier spot. So the spotting in a stakes race kind of makes me think that this horse is ready to go. So I'm gonna try to upset the field here. I see a lot of speed. I think this horse closes pretty well, so I'm gonna go number 2, Dominga.
Hey, I just saw did you end up winning that tournament at Sam Houston?
Yes, I did.
All right. Nice job. I saw the text to me and Samich. There you go. You finally broke through.
Finally.
You got a first place at what did you get there? How many? 49 entries. There you go. Nice job. Yeah, last time I talked to you, you lost the second to last race, and you thought, would you go to third? So would you in the last race?
Yeah, I was in third, and I had a 3-1 horse picked, and then the horse got bet way down, but it won, and it paid just enough. So I won by like $3 or $4. So yeah, it was nice. It was great, man. First time ever I've been able to actually come through at the end. So it was a good feeling.
Put it all together. That's what it's all about. And you got some cash to burn now, to waste on these more tournaments. So, all right, let's get to my pick here. I think I'm with you on trying to pick an upset. I actually went with another 8-1. I went with number 6, Temple City Terror, Brennan Walsh, with Rosario on board. Listen, I mean, you look at this race and it seems like it's ripe. And you look at the way this horse has ran at Fairgrounds, has plenty of opportunities with 6 starts, only 1 win. But the way this horse has just been consistently running, it has been just consistent enough. I feel like obviously the 2 back was the 6th place finish with beaten 5 1/4. But you look other than that, a win, second, a win. I mean, this horse consistently is closing, in this race. Kind of looks like it's going to take a closer that's going to come running late. And guess who gets on board? Rosario. And if there's a better finisher in the game, you tell me. But Rosario jumps back on board, who he won with at Churchill back last May. So he's back on board. He's rode this horse before. I love it. And he pulled off a slight upset that day when he won. He won by 2. So I love the fact that here he is again, jumping up. And I think, at 8-1, you're going to see a lot of that price. Yeah, Vicky, there you go. Vicky says thoughts. There you go. Tipple City Terror. That's the horse. That's like my girl there. For I think she's got a big shot. And you look at who's like Dominga, that's your pick. Delica, who's consistently runs mid to high 80 buyers. Well, Tipple City Terror does that. I mean, maybe that last effort was an 85 buyer, which was pretty good. Comes back again to face Delica, but give me Rosario, give me Tipple City Terror, give me a little bit of upset. I love Tipple City Terror here at a price.
I like Christoph Clement at 10-1, Logic and Reason. I am with you. I have that. I'm going to use that horse for sure. I almost picked that horse on top. So I'm with you there.
Gets Johnny V to ride on that one as well. Yep. So I thought so. I think we're on the same page as, this is a tough pick 5 sequence, in terms of a couple of these legs, and there's some legs you can go thin in. And this race doesn't seem like one of them. This one seems like this is one that you need to spread, try to go for prices, because if you're going to get paid, because the bottom line is, even if the favorite wins, like if you're going to get paid, it seems very logical that it's going to be by getting one of those home and not what we're going to talk about next. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Race 11. This is the New Orleans Classic Grade 2. With 400K for 4-year-olds and up on 1 1/8 miles. This is a tricky one because you have a horse like Owendale at 9-5, who probably is a deserving 9-5 morning line favorite. But this race you try to beat that price, and it's hard to. And also, it's hard to come up with any horse that is going to show any speed whatsoever in the race. And obviously Owendale, a horse that likes to come from out of it. So you kind of have the question of, is this field just not, it's just much less than he usually faces? And so even if he doesn't have like a perfect pace setup, it's not going to matter? Or do you use that against him and so to speak, and try to beat him?
Yeah, this race is crazy. If you remember last week, I really liked Silver State in a similar race at Oaklawn, and I thought I got to play Silver State here. I hate everybody in this race. I think the lack of pace actually – this is not going to hurt Owendale because nobody is going to be out in front. Like Owendale, sit down when I say this. He might be one of the fastest horses early in this race. Like that's how paceless the race is. There's nobody here. I actually think a closer will win because they're all going to be really close. Only my boy, the 3 horse at 12-1 is who I'm going to pick. And I don't want to play Owendale at a short price. I don't want to play Roadster at a short price. I don't want to play Sonneman at a short price. Only My Boys won 2 in a row, gets Irad Ortiz to ride. Yes, it's a step up in class, but I just said I don't like any of the horses in here. So is it that big of a step up? No, I don't think so. Only My Boy, the 3 horse, 12-1. I'm just going to take a swing here. I think this horse is improving, and I think this is a perfect race for a horse like him to jump up and win.
Listen, here's the thing. I got to where I'm at. I just think because you got to go deep in the last race. You got to go. I mean, it depends on what you feel, but at least to me, I'm going 2 deep in the Oaks. I think you go 2 or go 3, at least 3 deep, maybe 4 deep in the Louisiana Derby. It depends on what your thoughts are on the next one. If you're looking for a price, or you're going to play the favorite. But this seems like if you want, I kind of like Owendale as a single, just because I just think, not because I love the horse, but this race is garbage. And I'm with you. You look at his past performances, and he's not always. I mean, yes, lots of times he comes out of the clouds, but he has been right. The Al Sheba, he sit there third. Just real right on the pace there. And to by my standards, who won that race. Unfortunately, he hasn't won a ton of races, but mostly because he races in grade 1, grade 2 races, and this is not those level that he's been facing. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think I think Flo will have him close. He came off of the layoff and of course ran into a very sloppy track in the Razorback. Got beat by a ton by Mystic Guide, but let's be honest, Mystic Guide's like probably the best older horse right now, male older horse in the country. I mean, very well might be after Maxfield faltered. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing to fall on coming back on that. And you get it's kind of a second off, which Brad Cox is really, really good at. And I just think he'll set a close pace, and it kind of just feels like he'll kind of just cruise around the track and kind of do his thing because the rest of these horses just kind of suck.
You said it best. They kind of suck. And yeah, that's why. Listen, if Owendale was 5-1, I'd probably play him. But I mean, the race is so bad. Like there was a comment, why is Owendale continually a favorite? Because he finds these shitty spots all the freaking time. Like who's going to be the favorite? And I agree. It's like that is a horrible favorite, but it's like who would you want to bet here at a short price?
Yeah, I mean,
it's bad.
If you look at it, like he's only actually been the favorite, let's say twice since since 2019, let's say. So he was a favorite in the Razorback last out. That's fair. I didn't like him. I liked Mystic Guide that day. So I mean, of course, I wouldn't have played him that day as a favorite. He was a favorite in the Pimlico Special. Coming in off of the second place finish in the Al Sheba, Pimlico Special is definitely a lower level than that. So I kind of get that. But yeah, I mean, playing him at 9-5, there's nothing fun about that, right?
Right.
But to me, when I'm looking at the sequence itself, it's like if I'm trying to find, because I'll tell you in a second that I'm going to try to beat Colonel Liam. If you're looking for kind of the free square, so to speak, take who you think the best horse is in the races. And I think you and I both agree the best horse actually in the race is probably number 2, Owendale. So that is who I'm picking. All right, let's go to race 12, the Menez Memorial. Now, here we go.
We're going to answer this question right here, Vicky.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Next up, race 12, the Menez Memorial Classic. It's a grade 2 or 300K for 4-year-olds and up going 1 1/8 miles on the turf. Field of 12 lines up for this one. And listen, this is for the day. This is the first big time start to kind of come out on the track. 3-1 on number 5, Colonel Liam, your Pegasus World Cup turf winner, the budding superstar for Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz to ride. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's not the best horse in the race, or you're not going to say it. But are you going to try to beat him in the race, or is it kind of like I was talking about with Owendale, where it's like, listen, you got to take what they give you. He's going to be tough to beat. Play and move on.
I am definitely going deep in the first 2 races we talked about, and then short here. I'm going to go Colonel Liam. I just think that race last time out showed, wow, he is really, really good. I kind of hate these horses when I kind of are against them in a big race, and then they run like that, and now all of a sudden I got to go with him, and that's a little bit scary. But I just think he's the best horse. You've got some in here that make sense, but at the same time, he beat him fairly easily last time out. So I couldn't get there as far as this horse is going to turn the tables on Colonel Liam. And then the horses he's facing that have been running at fairgrounds, just not good enough. I would love to have seen Factor This at his best take on Colonel Liam, because that may have been a battle, but I don't think Factor This is anywhere close to his best. And Vicky asked a question, do we know which horse is the horse Irad is flying in to ride on Saturday? I have to think it's Colonel Liam.
It has to be. I mean, he's ridden this horse 3 times, 2 of the last starts, including, of course, the Pegasus World Cup, where he won. It's a really impressive race. I mean, this is a horse that's only ran 6 starts, won 4 of them. Really, past his struggles of kind of breaking his maiden, this is a horse that just the Saratoga Derby had some trouble. He's just been really tough. It's hard to kind of find anything. Obviously, a huge time purchase for Liam's Map being a $1.2 million purchase for the Lowe's. So, I mean, obviously, he's the one to beat here. And like Vicky says, free square. Yeah, I mean, like I'm not going to fault anybody for trying to do that. My thought here is that whereas a lot of people are going to try to beat Owendale, a lot of people are going to try to single Colonel Liam. So if you can somehow get Colonel Liam beat, all of a sudden you knock out a ton of people. You got the free square, so to speak, in Owendale in the last race. And here, if you can get him beat, you're going to open up the ticket prices drastically. So especially when you're talking about, like, say Colonel Liam wins, say Travel Column wins, and then say Mandaloon wins. Then, I mean, the sequence is just not going to pay a lot, especially if you have Owendale win. You know what I mean? So it's just like you got to try to find something somewhere. I went with the 4-horse Cross Border. And again, I mean, depending on what I probably will play Colonel Liam as well, because, I mean, I'd hate to get beat by this horse in my multis, but I just think Cross Border, this horse ran third to the Colonel Liam, the favorite in the Pegasus World Cup last time out, ran a good effort. Then he gets, back to Lasix here, which I think is only going to help him kind of get back to it. And he's been a very consistent horse, just over his time. Fairgrounds, ran one race, finished second. He's got 3 starts at this distance, 2 wins. Gets Jose Ortiz, who's ridden this horse before, of course, with Mike Maker. When they do ride together or they team up together, they hit about 20%. So I like that as well. He's just a very, very consistent horse, and I like that about him. And really, if you look at the way this horse has ran over his career, obviously a 7-year-old versus a 4-year-old, but this horse has hit triple digit buyers several times, whereas Colonel Liam still isn't there yet. So you can at least make a case that, okay, he's there. It's just a matter of him running his race. Maybe they're about to cross each other. Colonel Liam shoots up past Cross Border. Maybe he did in the Pegasus World Cup. But I think if you're trying to get a horse to beat him, Cross Border is the one that, to me, seems most logical.
Miranda says, look out for Captivating Moon. I know you had Captivating Moon, Miranda, in the last race at 42 to 1.
Look at that fancy picture as your profile. Goodness.
Oh,
I mean, what is this? Like,
I know. Yeah. She thinks she's something else now after these.
She thinks she's hot shit now. I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel very happy that she's even listening. Someone looks like that, right?
Yep. I agree.
Captivating Moon, a horse that won for you. That was huge for her that day. Won at 44 to 1. Hadn't sniffed the winner's circle in quite some time before that. So I'll take the shot against.
So I want to know, though, this race. Miranda, put your picks up for this race.
Yeah.
Because
we know you love this one.
Yeah, and this is the race that screwed you last time. So I want to know if you're going back to your girl or what you're going to do. So
yeah, because she singled Travel Column that day, didn't she?
Yes. She was not happy. Not happy.
All right. 3, 2, 1. And finally, probably the favorite race of the day for me, race 13, twinspires.com, Fairgrounds Oaks, grade 2 with 400K fillies. 3-year-olds going to 1/16 miles. And it's a Kentucky Oaks prep race, 140, 20, 10. So just like the race after this, the Louisiana Derby, which is the same points for the Derby. Same thing here. You get in this one, you're going to get to the Oaks. And let's be honest. I mean, it's amazing we get to see these horses match up now for a third time, because Travel Calm, the 8-horse at 5 to 2, 2 to 1, Clairiere, the 6-horse for Steve Asmussen, who turned the tables last time out. These horses keep battling back and forth, and they definitely seem like the two that you want moving into the Kentucky Oaks. So it's a matter of who gets the best of who in the last prep for the Kentucky Oaks.
So I think Travel Column turns the tables back in her favor today. I really believe, last time out, this horse, I think she just kind of got to the lead and kind of idled, whether that was the jockey's fault or she just kind of waited on horses. You look at her other races, they seem to be a bit stronger than Clairiere overall. I think overall she is a little bit better of a horse. So I'm going to pick Travel Column once again here. I think this horse, as you just said right here, will be ready to roll. I totally agree. I think this horse is going to get ready to run a huge race and will be the favorite for the Kentucky Oaks off of this race. Now, let me throw out one horse, though, that I think could upset the apple cart. And this is a horse that's going to be on my tickets. The 4, Little Tootsie. Look out for this horse. That's all I'm going to say. Luis Saez jumps aboard. This horse has won 2 in a row, both here at Fairgrounds. This horse, I think, is sitting on a big one, too. I think if anybody's going to upset him, it's going to be the 4.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I almost thought you were going to say the 1s as well, because you have Luis Saez, who rides for Pletcher, obviously rode that horse in 2 starts, including winning the Forward Gal, jumps off of that horse. Whether that's because Irad, they wanted Irad or what, but you would think if Luis Saez has ridden her the first 2 starts of her career, that's where he would stay, right? Especially for Todd Pletcher. So what'd you make of that?
I thought Zagel was terrible in the Forward Gal. I mean, like beyond bad. If that horse wins this race, I will be shocked off of the Forward Gal.
If she can upset these 2 horses, and she only got a 66 fire that day. Here you go, Miranda playing against both Travel Calm and Clairiere and going with what is that horse? What number is that? The 5 horse. And then also going with your horse, Little Tootsie, the 4 horse. So she's trying to go to the upset here with Bill Mott and Amos. Bill Mott, his horse with Jose Ortiz coming in off a maiden special weight win at Gulfstream Park. An impressive one at that. We'll see. Judd Mott horse. Interesting. I'm surprised that you're going against both of them here. I just think these 2 horses are in a league of their own. It'd be shot. And honestly, I'm with you. I think Travel Calm, I don't know what it was, if she just got bored, if she got lazy, if she made the stretch or made the lead and just kind of just idled. And you kind of look at that race, and Clairiere had to just run her ass off. I mean, and she did. Give her credit, she did. But Travel Calm just cruised and then got beat. Just got caught. I think she'll be more ready this time. I think Brad Cox will be more ready. I think Flo will be more ready. I think this horse is obviously very young, only making her 5th start. She's going to continue to get better. So I really think she turns the tables here. Moving forward, what do you do? Is this a back and forth for you? And then say Travel Calm does what you think she's going to do and wins here. Are you is she your Oaks pick, or do you think they can continue to kind of trade punches?
Honestly, I have no idea who's going to win the Kentucky Oaks as we sit here right now. None. This race is going to be a big first step in trying to figure that out. Yeah, I mean, if she wins here, I would think so. But again, it's hard to make a blanket statement until we see how the race was run. How did the winner look? Was it a close race? Did the runner-up have trouble? All that kind of stuff. But I've kind of went into this year thinking Travel Calm will eventually be my Kentucky Oaks pick. And now here she is. She did lose last time out, but she can definitely redeem herself here. So, long answer. Yeah, I think she probably will exit here as my pick if she can win. But I am not overly confident that she's going to get the job done here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's Travel Calm airs, and you're just like, okay, that's the horse. It's going to be hard to come up with. Whereas you kind of feel like you're starting to narrow it down, even though you can narrow down a few in the Oaks, and you got that Dallas Stewart horse as well out there at Oaklawn. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But I think here on this day, I think Travel Calm turns the page on her a little bit here. Number 8, Travel Calm. You and I both got her.
Every time I think I've got one of these figured out, the Oaks trail I'm talking about, I mean, I watch the race and it's like, what the hell just happened?
To Miranda's point, that would be this would be that perfect of a race where the 5 or the 4 wins, and you're just like, well, fuck, what am I? Now it's now I add a new player in here, and it's the Oaks definitely could be one of those races that they run their best race that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, in the Forward Gal, I singled Zagel that day, and thank God that horse won. But I came away from that race, even before the numbers came out, I was like, that horse isn't any good. Yeah. So it would be fitting if that horse won here after I've been
Well,
like,
the numbers backed it up completely. That
yeah,
it wasn't. You know what I mean? The numbers
yeah,
were pathetic. It's 66, and then these horses are running mid-80 buyers. So I mean, it's
yeah,
not. And to me, if you're thinking, it's like, okay, one, if your numbers aren't enough, then one of Pletcher's main guys, who's rode the horse both times, jumps off to an Amos horse.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, like that to me is the biggest sign of all. So,
Yeah.
um,
So she'll probably win.
yeah, exactly. She'll probably air. Go gate to wire. Just beat
Yeah.
the shit out of this field.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. It's all the time we have. Check us out at racingdudes.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our handicap products page. With the products link at the main menu at racingdudes.com. To learn more, just go to racingdudes.com. It's a brand new website. Get Racing Dudes Premium. Big button on the menu bar there, and you can access our premium section where you can get our our premium picks for the for Saturday. You get Soma Bombs, you get Rockets. Of course, we have a wagering guide available next week for the Florida Derby. We had the Rebel one last week that did really well. So everything there is included with a subscription. So you go make sure you check out all the options at racingdudes.com. If you haven't yet, go listen to the Magic Mike show. They just did I think they did Friday tomorrow. So if you're looking to handicap the Stronach 5 tomorrow, the sequence, $150,000 carryover. And they got races from Laurel Park, Gulfstream, Santa Anita, and Gold Gate. They preview that on the Magic Mike show. So go to get their take on some of those races on Friday action. Of course, we covered a lot of Saturday action as well. Just remember, we're on Twitter at Races4Dudes, Instagram and Facebook. Listen to SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, even a website at racingdudes.com. If you follow us on Twitter, I don't know if anybody saw this today, but we released got to thank Paul. I got a free beers, Paul. This guy loves this. Is his favorite thing we do every year. And he was like, "Are you gonna do?" A couple weeks ago, he's like, "Hey, you guys gonna do it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I haven't thought much about it." And he's like, "I love it. You got to do it." And then literally 2 days ago, he's like, "Hey, it's in your email." He's like, "Check it out." And I'm like, "Perfect." So I mean, this guy seeded it. So he's the committee. We didn't do it last year, obviously, because no March Madness. We felt like Derby Madness didn't make a lot of sense, but we started this sucker in 2018. It correctly got Justify. 2019, we got to Omaha Beach, who was a favorite of the Kentucky Derby. Of course, scratched the week of, and so we're 2 for 2 for favorites. We're 1 for 2 on winners, and let's flip the bracket here. All you gotta do to follow along is just follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes and go vote. We have let's see. Let's add my screen. We've done 2 regions that are out for voting right now. So if you haven't voted, you got to go vote right now. And there you go. And so we did the Secretariat region and the affirmed region today. Tomorrow I'll release the American Pharaoh and Seattle Slew regions. And all it is, it's just life is good versus starting your dreams. Wayburn versus highly motivated. You just got to vote. And then whoever has the higher percentage of votes on Twitter from the users will move forward. So looking at this, obviously Life is Good is going to get to the Final Four. Concert Tour, and this also makes it interesting when we do this as we go along, because you have horses that are going to be active. Like for instance, this weekend, say Proxy and Midnight Bourbon both advance, and they should. They're going to the voting will be taking place during the Louisiana Derby, so you're going to have that kind of influence as well. So Life is Good feels like a lock to Final Four. Concert Tour, Essential Quality, the affirmed region. That to me has, as Paul said, a lot of upset potential in the affirmed region.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with that. We'll see. There's a lot of Greatest Honor fans out there. Speaking of that, I love the comment today. Why don't you just start with Life is Good, Greatest Honor, Concert Tour, and Essential Quality and go from there? I guess because people like to have fun and vote and think about things. I know that's hard for some people on Twitter to have fun, but people actually find this fun. Believe it or not, we don't just do it for our own amusement. Like, there's a lot of things we could do if people didn't enjoy it. So people have fun with this, and that's what you should do. Don't take it all that serious and just think. I mean, honestly, like Wayburn, highly motivated. That's kind of interesting. Who would you want out of those two?
Right. You're picking a horse that's got hype. You're picking a horse that hype or a horse that beat him. You know what I mean? And I think it's fun and interesting to look, because then you look at it and I was motivated. Last time I looked was pounding Wayburn in the voting.
Yeah.
And so that tells you a lot about what the people think, and the people are what matters. And so far we're 2 for 2 on coming up with a Kentucky Derby favorite. So if that's anything, loaded. Look at that. This is a really well constructed bracket. Hey, yeah, I agree. The committee did well. I voted for Spielberg for fun. Well, David, that's what's great. I mean, that's what's funny about it.
Keyword being fun, for fun. People are having fun with this
because we don't care. And it's interesting too. Because obviously you're gonna have the Florida Derby's next week, right? Mm-hmm. So by that time, we will probably be, it will be Elite 8 or so. So you'll have a greatest honor versus prevalence before the race. That's going to probably happen. Yeah. Or the week of. So that will be interesting to see how people vote there. I imagine greatest honor will make it. I imagine you're going to have a Collaborate versus Medina Spirit. That will be very interesting. Mm-hmm. Especially if you get, say Collaborate wins the Florida Derby and he gets beat by Medina Spirit. That makes things super interesting. So, yeah, it's just fun. And I think that's why we do it, because it's fun. So,
yeah,
it's fun.
People enjoy it. Collaborate is up big over Roman Centurion. I'm trying to see if there's any other upsets. Highly Motivated is up big over Wayburn. All the rest of it looks to be the favorites are winning the polls right now.
In this first round, I just set them for a day, because it's gonna be hard pressed to find someone that's gonna an upset for Concert Tour, run Classic over Concert Tour. Yeah. But for when we get into like the Elite 8, I'll probably make those couple days long, because I do feel like you could have some fluctuation there. But
I love that Starring in My Dreams has 5.4% of the vote over Like It's Good.
Oh, I know. Well, a lot of people are just like, I fucking hate Baffert, so I just, no, it's fun. So I thought this. I'll bring this up. I do want to show people this, because I equally was like, oh, that was a fun year. So here, look at this. You probably don't even remember this very well, but let's look at 2018.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So you had a Justify versus Audible. McKenzie, Justify, Saul Meany made the Final Four. Look at that. He was a 1 seed too. How about that?
Wow.
Saul Meany and Audible. You have some, horses like, of course, Good Magic getting beat by McKenzie. Magnum Moon, who won the Arkansas Derby, got beat by McKenzie. Catholic Boy, there's your boy Catholic Boy. Yeah. Noble Indy, Bravazzo. I mean, these are some throwbacks. Sporting Chance was a 2 seed.
Oh my God. Oh wow. So,
oh man.
Justify defeated Gravitos, who never did anything. Sporting Chance, who never did anything, but then had to defeat Bolt d'Oro. So
beat him on the track and beat him where it mattered in the Derby Madness, and beat McKenzie, his stablemate. I thought that was pretty telling.
Yeah.
And then beat, of course, Audible, who both horses ran great in the Kentucky Derby. So
Audible was third, Justify, of course, wins. Where is Good Magic on this list?
Good Magic
he was
right
a 2 seed.
Yeah.
He got beat by McKenzie. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then let's look at 2019. Oh, you want to look at it more?
No, it's fine.
Look at 2019.
Yeah.
Let's look at 2019.
Yeah.
Because this one is a little more recent, so people can maybe get. And I apologize for anyone that's not looking at this, because you're probably like, what the hell? But we'll. So here you got Omaha Beach versus War of Will. Obviously, War of Will went on to win the Preakness. So that was a pretty good game winner. Omaha Beach, Code of Honor, War of Will. That was a really good Final Four.
Yeah.
Of quality horses there.
Where is Maximum Security?
I want to say he didn't even make the gate in the tournament.
Probably
because
right.
he was in and when we did March, he wasn't even a mention,
Yeah. What about Country House? Was he on this list?
Yeah, he was. I think number 3 seed. He got beat by Roadster in the first round.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
He got beat. The Kentucky Derby winner, so to speak, got beat by Roadster in the first round. Tacitus got beat at Code of Honor.
Yeah.
There was
Heichel defeated Mucho Gusto, and then Code of Honor defeated Heichel. Yeah.
Vacoma, the Met Mile winner, got beat in the first round. Got upset there. Bourbon War.
Vacoma got beat by Sueno.
Can't make this up.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool to look back on.
Hidden Scroll. Now here, look at this. This is a horse. So this we thought it was funny because I think it was the same spot the Justify was, and at that time it was a similar horse in a sense, kind of like a lightly raced under the radar, and then of course Hidden Scroll just got pounded, so didn't quite have the same path as Justify did. But no, and like this is. Again, it's fun. It's fun to look back at these, and we'll look back at this one that we did this year, next year, and be like, hey, you remember when, when Highly Motivated won the Kentucky Derby? That was fun. So, but no, it's fun to go look back, and obviously this year seems like another year for Bob Baffert. All right, that's all the time we have, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, I heard someone mention, is there possible live stream? Is live stream possible for this weekend?
I'm always up for a live stream. So if you guys,
worst case, I see like Oaks Derby talk. That would be kind of fun to do. Fairgrounds Oaks.
I think getting on for the last 4 races at Fairgrounds would be fun. We could do a group pick 4, and then I would definitely be up for that.
The young buck, I'm sure Ricky he'll drop his plans, right? He'll do.
Listen, surely.
He's got. we'll talk. He's probably already he's listening. He's message us instantly. I'll do it. But no. So stay tuned for that. If you see, again, go subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and you'll get alerted if we do a live stream. And of course, be interesting to see our live reactions of who wins these races, especially with Colonel Liam, the Oaks race, the Derby race, of course. So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend. Thanks, guys.